I'm going to explain you how to make a regular polygon in a biggest form, in a biggest dimensions that we have at the beginning of the problem. First of all, I want to explain you the process in a real example. For example, we are going to imagine that our pentagon, that is a kind of regular polygon that I have choose because it's probably the one we're gonna understand better the process. We're gonna imagine that we have these dimensions of the pentagon. This is a part of a swimming cap that, as we can see, is elastic, and it's gonna help us to understand the process. Well, when we got this and we wanna make it bigger to the from this side to the limit we have marked here, there is a bigger pentagon. What we have to do first of all is to take a static point from these 5 vertex. For example, we get this point static, it's not gonna move, and from this side we're gonna expand the other 4 vertex. For example, we get this like an expansion. And with this idea, and obviously this is going to be right, that it's going to occur this side, these lines. This is what we are going to do in our problem, to expand 4 vertex from one static vertex. Well, here we go. First of all, we have to learn about how to make a pentagon, knowing the side of this pentagon. For example, we're gonna take 6 centimeters from our pentagon, that we're gonna imagine that the problem says this, and from this side we're gonna make an equilateral triangle where we get the top vertex, from which we're gonna make another time a circumference that, as you can see, it passes from these 2 points that were at the beginning the side, that we're gonna now, as my teacher remind me, down all the points we get. Well, when we got this, we're gonna draw the diameter of the circumference we have drawn. Remember, this line have to be perpendicular from the base AB and pass to the center of the circumference. When we got this circumference, we have to part it in 12 parts. So we're gonna make tails, or tales, as we know in Spain. From these 12 parts, we can part the diameter of our first circumference. We have to take the number of how many sides have our regular polygon. In my case, it's a pentagon, so we're gonna take the 5th part of the section. We make tails, and in parallel we take the 5th partition of my vertex, and I make another time a circumference from this side. Getting this, we take the dimensions, the length of the side, and we put it into the circumference. What we have to do, and what I have learned many times from my teacher, my dear teacher, to check if the sides are correct, and as you can see, are correct. We have this line have to be parallel from the base, it's done, it's okay, so we can paste the 5 vertex, and now we can start the really important problem. First of all, we have to time the different ways. For example, this is gonna be C, D and E. Having done this, we're gonna make what I have said at the beginning with my example, the real example, that is to take one static point, one static vertex from this 5 vertex. We choose, because I really like this letter, the A1, because always is the easiest one. From this A1, what we have to do is make this is gonna be static. We're not going to touch this point, and we're gonna do from A point lines to the other 4 vertex, A to B, A to C, A to D, and A to E. Perfect. And now the most important, the most splendid moment. For example, the measure they said, we must remember that at the beginning the side of the pentagon is 6 centimeters. We're going to imagine that the problem says the answer. The problem says to us that it have to be, for example, 8. So we're going to do 8. Okay. 8 centimeters. Done. And we have to obviously take the B from here and making it regular, maintain it regular, the pentagon, and get the bigger one. So what we must do, easy, very easy, just parallels from all the sides to the new one, and when it touch to the lines we have done from A to each vertex, we stop it, and it's gonna be the new C point or B point, and also the new D point, and the new E point. Remember, we have said that we're not going to touch the A point because it's not necessary, because as you can see we have make bigger, we have expand the pentagon from the small type. So I wish it's gonna be help. It's gonna help you this explanation, and